Every time Open Great League returns to the cycle, I always find myself coming back to this team. This is my Scrafty Tentacruel and Confusion Cresselia line. I've featured this team many a time on the channel. I'm sure if you want to watch more, I'll have links at the end of this video so you can check out more battles with this exact line. But yeah, so this first match, this is kind of brutal getting the safe swap here for Sableye. But yeah, we were in a pretty tough pickle to begin with, so we're going to try our best to work our way through this. And the thing about this is I am able to just barely pull off the switch because of having the double shield scenario, and I think that attack drop, I think I had an attack drop there and it was pretty significant. But having that Pelipper lead was pretty brutal on me, and unfortunately right there, I made a panic switch when I had Cresselia aligned with Nidoqueen. I should have just kept my Cresselia in and tried to farm as much damage on Nidoqueen as I could before switching potentially to Scrafty. But as you can see, I even get the defense drop from Earth Power as well. So I got pretty much served in ownage here, and yeah, starting off strong here, trying to bring my team back and try to, represent it in a good way. But there's a reason why this site exists on the channel, and we will continue to watch these battles. So this next one, amazing alignment, and they bring in Lickitung as their safe swap. I love this. I'm gonna stay in with my Scrafty, try to rack up as much damage as possible. And this Lickitung is just taking a beating. This power punch connects, they're not committing any shields, and I just get the farm down with barely taking half damage. In comes Gligar, and I wanted to throw one foul play before switching out. They do commit a shield, so at this point I'm going to actually safe swap into my Tentacruel, knowing that I'm going to want my Cresselia here for the end game. So I do throw the Scald, we get the shields, and at this point it's pretty much just, I decided it's probably best to just let Tentacruel go here. I'm going to line Cresselia with the Gligar. In this way I'm waiting out the timer just to make sure I have a way to switch out if they end up bringing back in that Sandslash. And as you can see, that's exactly what ends up happening. So having these shields, I'm going to have to try to preserve it here. I go for the foul play because I want to save one shield just in case. I don't really think I even need it on Cresselia. But yeah, it probably would have been better just to, I don't know, this is fine. Because there's no way that this Gligar is going to be able to do enough damage to Cresselia. And I'm pretty sure they just they force quit their app because the game got very laggy. That's typically what happens whenever you're getting these weird pauses and your opponent doesn't seem to be doing anything. I think it happens when someone force quits the game instead of ending the match properly, so I think that person was upset. GG's though. It seems to be even more laggy with this current update, but yeah, I don't know. The game did seem a little funky. I don't think it was necessarily miscounting anything I was doing or like my inputs, but it just felt very wonky. But it does look good. I mean, I like this background stuff for the battles. But yeah, in this match, I was fortunate enough to not hastily throw Grass Knot, and I do end up being patient in connecting my Moonblast here into Superior, which will help me win this switch successfully, and I'll be able to get out of it with only committing one shield. So now that I have alignment again, they're going to bring in Politoed because they don't want to bring in their Azumarill. So if you're wondering, anytime I get an Azumarill lead with this team, I always safe swap to Cresselia, and you'll see why. I've demonstrated this many a time with this team. That's the whole point of this team originally. So they switch in their Azumarill, and then I just switch to Tentacruel, and they recognize they can't do anything at that point. Game. GG's. So next battle, Lantern lead. Very difficult lead for Scrafty. Not Lantern can come out on top on this. I feel like Lantern users could just go straight Serps here. I mean, if I don't shield going for a Thunderbolt is going to do more damage, of course, but if I do shield, it's just like going for spam search, I think is the win con. But they switch in Skarmory, and I'm going to try to just bring in Tentacruel and try to keep some, because Tentacruel's not going to do too good against Lantern. So I figured, you know what, I might as well just bring it in. And I do get the attack drop from Scald, which is amazing. Tentacruel is so great now. This team is definitely so much better with the Scald buff. But yeah, I'm gonna commit one shield in this scenario, and because I did use Brave Bird, it does allow me to go for the farm down safely. That's the main reason why I committed to shield, because I saw that I could actually go for the farm down and have energy. I go for the Scald into the Lantern, and I do get the attack drop, which is nice. And I guess I could have potentially... No, never mind, that was a CMP. It was best to just do that energy. So at this point, I can just bring in anything. I decided to bring Cresselia because I thought that would be a good opportunity to get some energy. And honestly, this was kind of insane because I was like, what am I... There's no way I can win this. I just threw the Moonblast for some reason. I mean, not for some reason. They must have thought I was throwing Grass Knot. And they take a Moonblast to the face. I was able to catch the move on Scrafty, and now I can just win the move by farming down with Confusion. So honestly, that was insane. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to include this set, because it was one of the first ones getting back into the groove of things, and I just thought that was insane how that turned out. Anyways, this one's looking kind of dicey. Getting the Wish Cache switch in on Tentacruel is pretty bad for Tentacruel, because even with these attack drops, as you can see, Mud Bomb's still going to be significant enough, and it's very spammy. It outpaces Tentacruel overall. So yeah, Wish Cache can afford to take one Scald, and then it's just going to outpace Tentacruel. So yeah, it's a tough situation. I don't typically like to commit too much there, but maybe one shield sometimes I'll commit. Now it's time to bring in Scrafty. Fortunately, I don't get the attack drop from Scald. I get a little bit of a farm down, and in comes the Altaria. So from here, I'm just going to throw a Foul Play because it's already a bad situation. I just want to try to get some chip damage off on Altaria. That's typically how I like to play battle leads with Scrafty, is just trying to get chip damage off throughout the battle. I think I showed that Moonblast there, which was good. And in comes the Lantern, which is kind of scary. I'm going to have to try my best here, but honestly, Lantern's going to be able to hit that Thunderbolt, and I maybe should have tried to generate a little bit of extra energy here, but the reality is I don't think I was going to get to that second move. And oh my gosh, I actually don't think there's anything I could have done here at this point. Being able, like, my most healthy Pokemon is currently Scrafty, which just gets removed from with the Sky Attack, excuse me. So yeah, that was a tough set, 3-2. So can this team still do okay in the current format? Things are kind of stabilized, it feels like, in Open Great League. I've seen a lot of very consistent leads as of lately, a lot of Empoleon, Alolan Sandslash, and I've seen a comeback of Altaria recently as well. A lot of Altaria, it seems, at least from my perspective of when I've been lobbying. But in this battle, I definitely made a mistake of staying in way too long on the Dragonair with my Scrafty. So yeah, that was not an ideal scenario, and now I'm kind of like left with my Tentacruel, which I'm going to throw the Scald in hopes of getting the attack drop. So I'm going for another one, and it still does a pretty decent amount of damage. Even though I didn't get those attack drops, I think that damage was the call. And from here, my opponent decides to just insta-swap out. I guess saving energy for something that I have. I don't know what they thought I had, but I'm going to switch into my Cresselia, and I am Confusion, like I said. So this is a good scenario for me to kind of get a farm down on Venusaur. And I should be able to live a Drill Peck if that's what they go for, trying to preserve some of its energy. I go for the Grass Knot just to try to waste the timer, honestly. I wasn't really going to get to double. And it's just a nail biter here because I just barely live a drill peck, and the counter damage is enough to take down Empoleon before the Still Wing can kill me. So wow, that was insane. Altaria lead, I always switch to Tentacruel. I don't think I stated that in my early battle against Altaria. But yeah, that's typically the play, and a lot of times I've seen this Lantern kind of switch into. So this is tough because there's not much I'm going to be able to do here. I mean, I could try to commit double shields, but it's really not worth it. So I'm just going to try my best to just get off some chip damage, maybe get attack drop, maybe defense drop. And I'm going to just try to generate energy with Scrafty upon coming back in. Since I think I got the attack drop with a Scald, so I decided I'm just going to tank the move. And I think I tank both, kind of leaning a lot here in this battle on Cresselia, hoping that that's the right call. In comes the Altaria, and I'm just going to hit that with a foul play before switching out. Like I said, that's typically how I like to play. Bad leads with Scrafty, throw them energy that I generate upon maybe potentially losing safe switch. They end up having like a tongue here in the back, which is pretty scary, but I actually thought this could be really good for me because if I could potentially ramp up with Scrafty, then there might be a win con there. So I don't, when I was playing through this, I was also considering like maybe I just need to get the shield. So I decided to just save my energy, bank it on my Altaria, but I mean, excuse me, on my Cresselia, excuse me. I'm just thinking of this Altaria that's coming in. I think I lose this just barely because it can farm me down. It's not even just barely, honestly. They just had that at that point. Good game. So here I get a Wish Cache, and they bring in Skeledirge. Skeledirge is actually relatively difficult for my line to deal with because Scrafty is one of the best things I have on the team to deal with it, and it is weak to one of its bait moves, Disarming Voice, and it's not just weak, it's very weak to it. So it's going to take a chunk from a fairy move, which I don't want to do. I kind of switch in Tentacruel at an awkward time, and yeah, I have to take one Shadow Ball. I don't have to, but I decided to take one Shadow Ball to the face. And currently this Skeledirge is like just tearing through my team. I thought I was misplaying this so hard, and I didn't think I was going to have any way of overcoming the match at this point. But fortunately for me, I am able to just remove Skeledirge. I generate a little bit of extra energy because I was thinking, you know what, might as well take advantage of this scenario with Incinerate. And in comes a Talonflame. So I'm going to connect the foul play, and I think I insta-swap into Cresselia. Or no, I just generate a little bit of extra energy. I think I'm trying to preserve my Scrafty, just maybe as a potential sack swap. And I got kind of lucky here because I'm able to just barely get that energy that I need to remove this Witch Cache. I mean, honestly, this was such a dicey match for me. And as you'll kind of see here, because I saved my Scrafty, I can actually just barely farm down Wish Cache, and I have a foul play loaded, and I throw it into this Talonflame. Honestly, this just seems like such a chaotic match. I can't believe I won this. I won by 1 HP. Like, that didn't feel like a natural thought process. Like, rewatching that, it just seemed crazy. That's how I won that. Anyways, next battle, I get a bad lead in the form of Talonflame. I insta-swap out into my Tentacruel. And at this point, I'm going to just commit the shield, and in comes Giratina Origin Form. I don't even have this for Great League. I wasn't doing this special research, unfortunately. So, wait, is that a shiny too? Wait, hold on. Oh my gosh, that's a shiny as well. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a flex. But yeah, actually, I end up being able to flip this because I think I got the attack drop, and yeah, being able to just kind of barely farm it. So that's pretty good for me personally. And they bring in Hakamo, which I get attack drop, which is amazing. Or no, maybe that was it the attack drop? Yeah, I think so. I went for a Scald. I bring in Cresselia because I'm just going to chip away with Confusion at this point. This is looking pretty good. I just need to preserve Cresselia for the rest of the fight. I'm going to sacrifice my Scrafty after throwing the Moonblast. And even if they throw Fly here, I'm just going to take it because I can take one. And at this point, I could still get to a foul play. So this is going to force them to commit a shield. If they don't shield, that's bad for them. And if they do shield, that's good for me. Because now I can just bring in Cresselia. I know I can tank one move. I wanted to make sure they didn't go for the Flame Charge Fly combo because that could have actually KO'd me. Thankfully, they just do double Fly, which is the win con for me with that call. And I mean, double Fly, or you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, as long as they didn't go for Flame Charge first and I shielded that, that would have been terrible. But anyways, next battle, Shadow Wishcash. Definitely scary, but not. I feel like this is not as frightening with my team just because I know I can really threaten it with Scrafty's counter damage, and they just opt out from not shielding at all here. And I decided, you know what? I'll allow some damage to get through with Scald. Fortunately for me, I don't get the attack drop. I'm going to throw my foul play into this Altaria before I switch out into Tentacruel. And this is looking pretty good so far. I have Altaria down to half health, and there's one more Pokemon in the back. And I still have my Scrafty as a potential sacrifice if I need it at some point. So I do get the attack drop as well, which forces this Altaria. I guess I could have threw my energy, but then I saw this opportunity as, you know what, I could actually just shield. And even if they have two shields, this is one of the reasons why I love this team. I can just go for Acid Spray. And I was, you know, obviously I was like banking in the back line that somehow Cresselia can farm down with Confusion. But just by giving it that little bit of defense drop, Confusion's going to chunk away so much more. And because I have the sack swap as well, I can get rid of any Icy Wind debuffs. At this point though, Scrafty's racking up so much damage that it ends up just causing my opponent to forfeit the battle. So yeah, 4-1 set, so not too shabby. I need to get back into playing a little bit more consistently. The season's so difficult to climb for me right now. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really does help my content here on YouTube. And with that being said, the Sass Squad is getting stronger each and every day. You have a good morning, evening, afternoon, or tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one. If you want to check out more battles with my OG team, consider watching this video right here or this video right here.